So you're wondering if moving to Sacramento, California in 2025 is still a good decision. I get it. January, you were all fired up. You're saying Sacramento's a spot for me with all the new homes, projects coming to Sacramento. Sacramento is my spot. I'm moving out there. I'm super excited. Okay, as we all know, the California housing market has had pain points. We're talking about economic uncertainty affecting people's buying decisions. We're talking about higher than anticipated interest rates. And most of all, we're talking about some sellers out there who are a little bit unrealistic about their listing price and what they want to sell their home for. Normally, these sellers are sitting on 2.75 interest rates and they're like, hey, if I sell my house, great. If I don't, I'm okay with it as well too. This is the current state of the Sacramento real estate market, and we're going to discuss it a little bit this evening. We do the show every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. live to give you guys real-time data, real-time information about the Sacramento real estate market. So if that's you and you're still thinking about making a move to Sacramento, or you're kind of on the fence, then watch this video. We're going to get into it. We're also going to do some Q&A. We're going to talk to all these people who are either living in Sacramento, moved into Sacramento, moved out of Sacramento, and get their opinions. So you guys not only get my opinions, but get a whole bunch of other people's opinions about Sacramento and if it's worth it in 2025. Let's get into the video. All right, guys, this is the live show. So this isn't jump cuts, music, or only what you want, or, it's basically live. So if you guys have questions about Sacramento, bring them. We do this every Wednesday at 7 p.m. We're going to talk a little unfiltered about the market right now too. The market ain't great. It just is not great right now. It's a lot slower than we thought it would be. A lot of people are freaking out. Economic stability or instability is just like the topic du jour. People are just not feeling really comfortable with the market as we see it right now. Now, I'm going to say something straight up, and this is like without a shadow of a doubt. Like, Sacramento is one of the few places in the country that during this kind of climate that we're in right now, I would move to. Like, what we're going to talk about Sacramento, we're talking about like nationwide. It is like so much worse in areas like Phoenix, San Antonio, Houston, Austin, like Las Vegas. Honestly, guys, like in Sacramento, we have it pretty good here, straight up state capital. So you got a bunch of state jobs. You still got a lot of projects coming to Sacramento. But let's be honest right now, Sacramento is just not, it's just not feeling the love from like the California market. The housing market in California just ain't great. Like, everyone's freaking out. They thought interest rates would be a little bit lower right now. A lot of sellers are throwing their houses on the market. And a lot of people, depending on how you see it, are thinking they're getting a good deal, but they're just not really seeing the pricing on them. There's some amazing houses that are going on the market and flying. But I'd say those houses that I'm seeing fly on the market are, the listing agents that are going above and beyond. Like, for example, Gabby, who's going to be on the show, MidCentury Modern. The thing about Gabby that just blew me away about what she was doing is she did kind of like what our team kind of does a little bit is she brought in like every single influencer in Sacramento. She brought in the Sacramento Bee even too, like, and she went above and beyond. And I think that like, if you guys are like people who for the most part are like trying to sell your home, you got to go with the realtors who have like that above and the beyond mentality. The ones that say like, I'm going to just break my back and get your house sold, and also go in with aggressive pricing as well too. A lot of the pricing, honestly, sometimes you look at this pricing and you're like, that just makes no sense. I'm going to tell you why. A lot of the people who are pricing high right now are those people that are in 2.75s. They're sitting there and thinking to themselves, like, this realtor called me up at 5 o'clock during dinner time, told me I can get like $1.2 million for my house. I'm fairly sure realistically I should be able to get $1 million for my house. And he's listing it for 1.2. He's telling me like, hey, inventory is still low. Is it really? And he's looking to kind of throw my house on the market. So we're seeing these prices right now in the market that, at least for me, a lot of this stuff is just unrealistic. I say to myself, like, are you really trying to sell it? Or are you just trying to give, buyers a little bit of headaches, right? Because I have buyers right now that are kind of saying to themselves, like, this house is overpriced. Can you talk to the realtor and see if we can get some realistic pricing and get this deal done? And then you got some of these 2.75ers that are like, yeah, I'm not selling if I don't have to. I'm living in my house. I'm good. And I don't feel that push to sell. And so that's kind of what we're jumping into right now. And that's kind of the market as it is. And I know normally those like, living in Sacramento or whatever channels are more like, guess what? This is just the unfiltered version of if you are coming to Sacramento right now, what you're going to run into. And honestly, like I said, throughout the nation, other spots of California, it is way, way worse. Sacramento is still an amazing spot to live, and I absolutely love living here. And if there was a port in the storm, this would be where I would want to be, because I do think once interest rates start to drop, Sacramento is going to be one of the first cities that just booms back up and just does it. So for me, like I said, let's get into some of the Q&A. What do you guys think? Are you guys lovers of Sacramento like I am? All right, Gabby, you're hating the heat. All right, Gabby, you're coming on the show next week. I'm so excited for that MidCentury Modern talk. It's gonna be awesome. And like I said, like this is a show where I literally give props to the people who are doing crazy, amazing stuff in Sacramento. And honestly speaking, like what she did with that MidCentury Modern home was just amazing. And we're gonna get her on the show next week, and we're gonna talk MidCentury Modern. I've already got like 7 people who are lined up for that show, so it's gonna be crazy. And Gabby, hopefully you'll realize that we're gonna get some questions. All right, I'm in the process of buying a home in Roseville. I'm the first time home buyer. Wish me luck. I know I got your question here about JMC. JMC, I think, is a solid builder, right? I think that they give you, as far as standard upgrades in a house, some of the best standard upgrades that come with a house. I think JMC is a solid builder. The only JMC house floor plan that I've seen have problems is at times what I've seen is that they build this single story house. It's awesome. It's huge. I think it's like 3,500 square feet. It's enormous. The only thing that I've heard is that basically if you do not put like solar shades on one side, the house can get really, really warm and you're stuck. I'm not saying the AC doesn't work, but it's either you have like one room that's like 85 and the rest of the house is like 74, or you bring it down and you have that one room at 74 and the rest of the home at like 62 degrees. So I would say also make sure more than not, and this is something that I've been talking to clients left and right about, is also like when you are buying a house, and if especially if it's a single story home, just make sure where the sun's coming in, the kind of like, you know, all that stuff, because that's going to really, really be important as well too. I've run into clients who've had that issue. They've had single story homes and they say like, we have our AC isn't set up so we can just do one room or two rooms, and it becomes a problem. But getting back to my point, JMC is a solid builder. I've heard nothing but good things about JMC. Standard upgrades are good. Now, the only other negative I've heard about JMC is the fact that the elevations, which are kind of like the front of the home, tend to be a little bit not, there's no like modern or boom. They tend to be a little bit more standard, but JMC has got a really good name in the Sacramento area. And I think in Roseville, they've got like 9 communities out there too. So, you know, I'm wishing you all the luck in the world, first time home buyer, and I'm excited for you. And honestly, hopefully it goes the way, hopefully it goes well for you, and let us know for you also, if you can come back on the show and just basically let us know exactly like how JMC is as a builder. Cause I think a lot of people here would love to know first count experiences of builder quality in the Sacramento area. All right. Oh, Gabby says, I like the heat. Okay, nice. I know with that pool in that house, I would love the heat too. All right. I'm in the process of buying a home in Roseville. First time home buyer. Okay, we hit that one. Brandon, Sacramento has made me start to enjoy 90 degrees. I know. I'm telling you something, you know, like first 3 years here, this is me driving into Sacramento, black car, black interior, showing houses, biggest regret of my life. But as you kind of get used to it, there's a little kind of like I could say little cheats to the Sacramento heat, right? One is like just making sure, you know, all the doors are closed around like maybe like 9:30. If you have a whole house fan, letting the air run through it. And then, you know, honestly, like one of the things I tell people left and right is you guys don't realize how amazing SMUD is. If you're in Sacramento County, SMUD, man, I love SMUD. So for me, like a lot of people don't realize that SMUD is like half the price of your PG&E bill for electricity. So like, let's say normally in the Bay Area, you're spending like, let's say $400 like every single month on electricity because you're running the heat. And like I said, in the Bay Area, it is getting warmer and their AC systems are antiquated. But here in Sacramento, what you notice is SMUD is half the price and you don't have those crazy brownouts like PG&E does. So for me, you know, honestly, like that's another cheat about the 90 degree weather right now too. Like I know right now it's going to last till maybe about 9:30. As soon as 9:30 hits, whole house fan, let that thing go all night long. 7 o'clock, 7:30, my daughters are off to school, still have it running. Boom, boom, boom. Open up the windows. We're good to go. Let that clean, cool air hit the house. And then also, depending on how your house is situated, there's one part of my house that still gets shade up till about like 11:30, and I leave that door a little bit open as well too sometimes. So, there's little cheats. Every house is different, but Sacramento, if we've got 90-degree heat and that's the worst of it, that's not bad. I mean, you look at areas like areas of cities in Texas, cities in like, Florida. I mean, like hurricanes, tornadoes, you got floods, and you got alligators. I mean, that's just not fun. I mean, we've got heat. Okay, I'll take it. I mean, against other areas. And even in the Bay Area where there's a cooler climate, you're talking about like 3 times the home price. Like for me, Sacramento is great. And I know on this channel now and again, I'll complain about the heat and I'll complain about like the traffic also. I'll complain about that stuff too. Then I take a drive to like the Bay Area or take a flight to like Texas. And I'm seriously thinking that I'm a little bit of a baby about that stuff too. So for me, like I said, Sacramento's got heat. And if that's the worst thing that's coming our way, that isn't bad at all. Not to mention we got SMUD. So that's good. All right. Boom. Good luck. Yep, definitely said the areas. A good realtor help you through the process. Roseville is 4 to 6 towns combined into one name. Yeah, and here's the thing about Roseville straight up. Roseville is one of those areas where West Roseville is completely different than like your like more central Roseville by like the Galleria and the fountains, and then East Roseville as well too. So it's a lot of different kind of areas. Like Roseville definitely is like 3 areas. Then you got Old Roseville as well too. So I agree with you. You got to really know Roseville really, really well. I think like Roseville is almost, and then you got like an Elk Grove, which is kind of the same way as well too. Now Folsom also is becoming a little bit like that as well too, where you got the old school, like you buy the, by the water, you got Briggs Ranch, you got like Rancho Diablo, you got like Lexington Hills, and then on the other side, you got all brand new. So you do really have to know those cities and everything too, specifically if you're looking for a type of home. And also you have to realize too what areas have Melrose and what areas don't have Melrose. Melrose, basically every single new home builder, new home community that's been building for the last 10, 15 years will have some sort of Melrose that you're going to have to pay additionally. So those are things that you just have to kind of get in the know about. All right. How's the housing market right now? Are there price cuts, incentives because of the high interest rates? Number one, I will tell you this. I think new homes, honestly, like check this out. This is crazy. Okay. So this is a fun one. This is like, hold on. Where is that? All right, let me see if I can get this thing back online. There we go. All right. This is unbelievable. This honestly will tell you everything about the new home market. Lennar never, ever co-ops pretty much with realtors. They're just like, literally, we don't like realtors. And for them to actually offer full bill on a realtor, it just means that new homes are on the ropes. This to me just says like, and we're not just talking one Lennar community. We're talking like, they're like, we 2.5 across the board, any of our communities, we will work with a realtor. This, honestly, a lot of people see this and they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. All the other communities are co-oping, that's fine, and paying the realtor fee. This is huge. You guys don't really know how much of a tell this is. The Lennar is offering this. This should tell you everything there is to be said about new homes right now. In my opinion, I think new homes, they, October, November, we saw some amazing incentives. And then all of a sudden they killed it off because they, like everyone else, thought that the market was going to go gangbusters in spring and summer. As we've seen right now, demand is very slow. The economic uncertainty is just making people kind of like, have reservations about buying anything. Interest rates are still up there around 7%, and people just don't feel comfortable buying. And so the new home situation is interesting because number one, they don't know what's going to happen with the tariffs. Are new home prices going to go up? Are they going to be forced to go up? So what you have right now is new homes probably feeling a little bit of the uncertainty of what's going to happen in the future. They're saying to themselves, we need to sell some homes right now while the getting is good. Go, go, go. So for me, I think right now you're probably going to see more incentives come your way, especially if demand is still what it is, kind of anemic right now. And if rates stay where they are right now, I think new homes are going to be, they're going to need to put some incentives, even better incentives on the table to get those people going and get those homes moved. Like I said, I don't even think the new homes right now are thinking how much tariffs are going to affect them. And I think it definitely will be. And one of the things about us and the Sacramento market, one of the big draws about new homes is that New homes are very competitive in pricing to resale homes. Will that change when tariffs hit in and all of a sudden, they're getting their lumber from Canada and all that stuff too? I don't know. So I think right now, new homes you're probably going to see more incentives come in the new home market. And if it was me and I was looking to buy a home, I would definitely check out new homes. Even if I was one of those people who are like, I don't like new homes, the density, I hate Melrose, I would still look. Now, as far as new homes and just pivoting into this just for a second, I think that bar none, the best new home incentives in all the Sacramento area are at KHOV in Rancho Cordova. I think they are the ones who bought a lot of the bought rates. What was it last year? I think it was. And I still think that they have the best incentives. I don't think anyone can touch them. I really, really think that the community they're building, and they also realize they have a lot of communities out there that they need to sell. So I think for incentives, straight up, that's what you're going to see. So I think it'll be interesting. I think for resale, I think you got to be smart about the resale market too, in our market specifically. Like I always tell my clients this, I'm like, look, if you go into a house and people are living there and there's no real like communication with the realtor, as in like, oh, my clients are leaving Arizona or they're divorcing or something like that, like they're just kind of hanging out. Those are 2.75ers. Those are the ones who basically are saying to themselves, look, if we can sell our house for this much, we're okay. But I mean, realistically speaking, if you're someone who's sitting in a house and you have a 2.75, like the logic of actually selling your house, making a little bit of money, and then going into another house at a higher interest rate, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I am a realtor, yes, but I mean, there is some like, common sense stuff, right? I mean, so you're saying, all right, look, I can make 50 grand off my house, and then I'm going to give up my 2.75, and then I'm going to jump into a house and I'm going to start paying a 7% interest rate. The logic there is just really, really skewed. So I'd say for you guys, gauge the house. Gauge as far as the carrying costs, like I'd say like areas that have HOAs, that's additional carrying costs, Melrose as well too. You just got to figure out if the seller's hurting or not, or if they are that 2.75ers that are just like living there, they're good. If they sell it, fine. If they don't sell it, they're okay with it. Now, I think those sellers specifically, the ones with the 2.75s, are kind of clowning out and kind of mucking up the market a little bit. And I think that that's also impacting our demand. I think a lot of buyers are like, I thought, that's unrealistic pricing. Do they even know what the market's like these days? And I think that they do know what the market's like, but at the same time, they're not in that huge pressure situation to sell. And all of a sudden it just skews up comps and people are going like, that house is like literally $100,000 more than any other house being sold in the area. And it hasn't reduced like in 2 months. I don't get it. So I think you're going to be running into that kind of stuff too. Now, one thing I always tell you guys on this channel is work with a realtor, or just know the market well enough where you can gauge pricing. Pricing is absolutely huge. What I'm seeing is a lot of people, they'll see a house for $1 million. It'll be reduced for $950, but realistically, I mean, the house next door to it sold for $900. So you're not getting a deal. It might look like a big reduction and it might look like a deal, but honestly, you got to really know pricing in this market because, you're seeing some crazy reductions too. I mean, some people are getting to that situation where they have to sell and they're dropping it, but they're not dropping it to where it should be, but they're doing a drastic drop. So just know your pricing, know your areas, know the comps, know the price of square footage that you need to be watching out for in specific areas as well too. Know how fast things sell. If you see a house and it's almost the identical square like floor plan that you're looking for, and, a month ago, it went in like 3 days for a certain price. Just know your area, know your market, know the history, square footage, all that stuff is really important. Also, another big tell is I'd go to these open houses. If I'm looking at a house, before I even reach out to the listing agent, especially if it was something listed Friday, I would go to the open house Saturday. I'd go to the open house Sunday. I would talk to the agent. I wouldn't really tell them I'm interested. I'd probably say something like I'm a neighbor checking it out. I'd gauge the traffic, gauge the activity, and then, I would think about exactly what offer I'd do after that. Open houses can tell you a whole lot about a house, how active it is. For example, today I went to a broker open of this house that I'll be shooting on Friday. It was crazy. It was jam-packed full of people. And this is like a $2.4 million home. So open houses also, it's going to be amazing. All right. It should be a good tell for you guys. All right. Let's get the next one. Boom. Here. All right. Dun, dun, dun. All right. So as far as okay, so getting back to this and just I know I went on a little bit of a tangent. How's the market right now? Are there price cuts, incentives? Incentives, yes. I would say there are some price cuts, but again, just know your pricing. But for the most part, I think like there's no big push for buyers as well too. You know, right now, usually spring and summer this time is usually the people that need to get into Sacramento before school starts. That market is slowly starting to dwindle, and we're now like the summer market of people who are saying this is you know, we're going to make a move, you know, hopefully it's this summer. So I think the big crazy market that we were expecting to see like beginning middle of spring just didn't happen. I think summertime, I mean, I'm curious if we are going to get a rally. I think the rally would only happen is if rates dropped, and I just don't anticipate that happening. So I think honestly, like if I'm looking to move into Sacramento and schools weren't a big thing, I just wouldn't, I wouldn't feel a whole lot of pressure in jumping into the market. I mean, and a lot of buyers that we talk to feel the exact same way. They're kind of thinking, well, you know, the longer this year goes, the better options we're going to have. And, you know, you could be right, you know, so I would say just gauge the market. There are just a lot of things you need to keep an eye on. Like I said, the market right now isn't like the ocean. It's just like the ocean. Sorry about that. It's just like the ocean. Don't turn your back on it. Like you just have to kind of look at the market and see how it's going. Check out interest rates, you know, I'd say once every day to see where it's trending and everything too. And just kind of gauge a little bit of the demand in the area. But I do think that, you know, there is validity to the idea that as the year goes by, you could get even better deals at the new homes. You could also resell, could also, you know, you could see some reductions as well too. I mean, if your house doesn't sell in spring or in like June, all of a sudden, like July is kind of that month where you're like, man, we got to get rid of this house. What are we going to do? And then August, school starts. So there is a little validity to it. So I'd say just keep your eye on the market and also figure out who you're working with, lender, realtor, and just make sure they're doing that for you as well too. If they're, you know, if you're working with them. All right. Hey, Mark, my wife and I are moving back to Sacramento area later this year. We want to buy, but may rent because we want to hold out for Braden, California. Do you have any new updates on this? They're building it. You know, here's the thing. I was hearing that they were going to have some town, like there was going to have a town center there and a couple of stores were going to open up. I think that that's going to be pushed till next year. I can't see that happening this year. I'm going to go out there and I've been literally talking to Vitaly almost on a weekly basis, asking him to do an update. We're going to do an update on Braden. We're going to do an update on where are maybe the Elk Grove isn't taking the zoo, but we think we know a spot that the zoo might be going to. So we have updates on some of the projects too. Hopefully we can get this video to you probably in a week. So hopefully Vitaly is just super, super busy and I want to talk to him and bring him on because he just lives and dies for these projects. So I promise you that. Now, if we go past a week and a half and you haven't heard from me, I will have an update on the show about Braden. I'll drive out there myself, take some photos, talk to some people, because I've already talked to the people who are developing that stuff out. So I'll let you guys know what's going on, but I promise. All right. I saw a video of Sacramento today. The driver passed the rail yards. What's going on with that project? It still looks unbuilt? Yeah, they're slowing down on the projects. The rail yards, though, is going to be one of those things where I think right now what you're seeing is that some of the projects have been like delayed a little bit. I still think they're going in. I still think they're going into it, but a lot of these projects, what you're noticing is there's a little bit of a stall. I think the rail yards are going to be a little slow this year, but I think they're picking it up probably next year. At least that's what my buddy Corey was telling me. He's really, really involved in the rail yard project. But I do think the rail yards is something that people have been dying for. And I think that with all the new people moving into the Sacramento area, I think it's just a matter of time. So I'm putting it on my list. Braden and the rail yards. You guys got any more updates on any other projects? Let me know, and I'll make sure to include that on the next video when I update the projects. Let me just know, and I'll make sure I give you an update on that stuff too. All right. Dun dun dun, Gabby, it's a dry heat. Yeah, one of the things I do love about like the California weather too, in Sacramento specifically, is like it is a dry heat. I'm a big fan of dry heat, not a big fan of humidity, although you know it's good for the skin. I've lived in humid areas where it's really, really hot. I'm not a big fan of jeans sticking to my legs and just that kind of stuff too. I think in Sacramento, I think it's a dry heat, and I'm okay with the dry heat. Humidity just kills it for me. I would never again move to somewhere that is humid. This dry heat in California is like perfect for me. All right. Oh, by the way, Gabby, these are the questions you're gonna be getting left and right when you're on the show next week. So it'll be fun. The building costs gone up because of Cheeto Mart? No, not yet. But here's what I will say. I think everything is going to be revealed probably around August of this year. And here's the thing for me. I don't like, okay, builders anticipated that spring would be just crazy, right? They're predicting that right after February, everything would just go crazy. Everyone was, right? So I do not see how builders towards August, December, and like November, I just don't understand how, unless interest rates are going to be the defining factor with new homes. I just don't see how new homes are going to get out of this without having to just discount. I just don't see it. Unless, of course, rates go down and all of a sudden people flood into Sacramento, which I think at some number it'll happen, but I just don't know. I mean, there's so much new homes building happening. There's so many communities, right? You got in Rancho, you got Tri-Point, you got Pulte, you got Cressley, you got Woodside, you got Beezer, you got you got so many builders building in all these different areas of Sacramento that I just think right now, with the demand being low, you're probably going to see more incentives and probably more discounts, unless, of course, interest rates drop with something with a 5 on it. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. All right. Boom. Next one. That's great info. How do you go about capitalizing on the incentives? I'd say the incentives, it depends on what your pain point is, right? A lot of people, like for me, everyone that I talk to, like lenders, title people, everyone underneath the sun is basically saying we're probably going to be in a 7% rate environment for a while. Now, again, take that with a grain of salt. It's not something in stone. Like, we're in a weird market where a tweet can move everything. So, or whatever it's called now. So I would say for you guys, it just depends on what's your pain point, right? So let's say, for example, you go to Tri-Point and they're like, hey, we'll give you like 60 grand. You can go towards closing costs. You can go towards lot premium. You can go to whatever. So you have to kind of work that to whatever you think it's going to be. If you're someone who says, you know what, I think we're going to be at 6-7% for like the next couple of years, maybe like do a 2-1 buy down. You just have to kind of figure out where best to use that cash. Now, if you're someone who basically is like, look, we don't have a lot of cash in the bank, but with that money, we all of a sudden that can cover our closing costs. I mean, that could work in your benefit as well too. So they can structure it differently. Like, for example, let's say you go like to Tri-Point. Let's say they're giving you like, realistically, like they're giving you 30 grand, right? So you can use a certain piece of it if you want to for a rate buy down, and then a certain piece of it to go to closing costs if you feel like it. So there's ways where you can kind of maneuver the incentive money to go towards one thing or the other. Now, for me, this is a market, and I've said this, I think it was like a year and a half ago where I said this. This is a market where if you fall in love with a house, love will make you do crazy things. I personally would love to fall in like with maybe like 4 or 5 houses. I think that gives you a whole lot of leverage in this market. I think for someone who falls in love with a house, I think you could be that one buying the most expensive house in the neighborhood. No offense. But I do think that this is the market where if you jump in, find a few houses that you like, and then make some low offers, new home resale or whatever. I think those are the people who can definitely win in this market. Like I said, I met with a great couple like at Starbucks a couple days ago, and I asked him, I'm like, how picky are you? He's like, I'm really, really picky. I'm like, well, hopefully that one house comes on the market that you absolutely love and no one else loves it. Because that's the other thing too. If you have some sort of like, either two things are happening in this market and houses are flying. One is aggressive pricing. Aggressive pricing, normally a house will do pretty well. Sometimes it even goes up to that price that the seller wants. We've had that happen like on Tuscan and everything too. Or the other thing too is finding that one house in that one community where there has not been a whole lot of listings hit the market, and people have been sitting there and saying, if that community, that house, if there's something there, I'm going to jump in on it. And then all of a sudden 5 or 6 people jump in on it, and then it can go crazy. Those are literally unicorns right now in our current market. I'm even seeing realtors that normally don't reach out to me and let me video houses, and they're like reaching out to me left and right saying, video my house, video my house. Gabby was not one of them. I was on bended knee saying, please let me video that house because I was so amazing. But I will say though, this is definitely a market where you have to like, you fall in like, not in love. I think love is going to be one of those things where, in a market that we're in, a lot of people are calling it like a neutral market right now. I would say that if you fall in love with a house, I think the seller has the advantage. And if that's a one house for you, it might not be the best thing for you, especially to leverage the market. All right. Boom. What's up, Gabby and Mark? Yeah, next week it's gonna be fun. I'm super excited to have Gabby on the show. We're gonna talk mid-century modern, but we're also gonna talk real estate. We're gonna talk about like the weather here. We're gonna talk about like the fun things to do here. We're gonna talk about also get her take on this market because I love the idea of having other realtors on the market on the show, and we can talk a little bit about their experiences. Gabby just put that one house that I did a video of, the mid-century modern. She put it on the market. It had multiple offers and it flew. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about mid-century modern, the demand in the Sacramento area for it, because what I'm seeing right now too is that mid-century modern is really, really on a roll. You know, in fact, I would say that a lot of these mid-century modern homes are kind of like their own kind of brand of unicorns that people just absolutely are falling in love with in this market. So it'll be awesome to get Gabby's take on it, to see how in demand these mid-century modern homes are, and also how she was able to get multiple offers on it, the idea of the social media, the videos and all that stuff too. So I'm excited. And also we'll share her Instagram channel because it's phenomenal. And if you're someone who loves mid-century modern, I would definitely follow her Instagram account. In fact, Gabby, if you want to, put your Instagram account in the comments so people can follow that. But I'm super excited to have her on the show. It's going to be really, really, really fun. All right. And it's funny, like actually, Tyra, you mentioned it. I called her. Then, yeah, it was fun. But I'm excited to have her on the show. All right. I'll buy a home in Roseville, but I'll keep my apartment in the Bay Area. I work here in the Bay Area, so I still want to live here. I want to buy a home I can call my own. That's the reason why I'm buying a home in Roseville. All right. Love my job in the Bay Area, so I'll keep renting here so I have a place to stay and sleep when I'm on my working days. You know, I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people that have moved into the Sacramento area, in fact, almost everyone, you know, they fall in love with Sacramento. Sacramento is one of those spots where I think there is a little bit of a, people move to Sacramento just for the price. Nah, Sacramento is pretty amazing. Sacramento is an amazing spot to live. I think people in general are super friendly around here. I think that we got a nice food scene. I think we're developing, growing. I think you can see Major League Baseball. You can see the Kings games. You can see soccer. I mean, guys, I think people might think that people move to Sacramento just for the price point. They might move here just for the price point, but they stay because they fall in love with Sacramento. For me, I tell people all the time, I've had chances to move back to the Bay Area. You know, I've never even considered it. I love Sacramento. I think we're on to something really, really big. And even in a market that's as testing as our current California housing market and national housing market, Sacramento is still doing pretty solid. So for me, I'm liking Sacramento. Hopefully you guys do too. All right. Gabby. All right. Sold old and out, seriously looking to purchase a home in either Orangeville or Fair Oaks. I like both those areas. I think Fair Oaks, let me think. Orangeville, it depends on your price point, but I like Orangeville, Fair Oaks. I think there's a level of like little farmy areas in Fair Oaks and Orangeville. And there's some like a little bit like kind of like gated communities. And there's some areas like in Fair Oaks, like Currow Downs. I love that area. Wide streets, houses are set back. There's an area also across the street from the library with all the Hawaiian island names and everything too. It's really like, I know they shut down some blocks for 4th of July and everything too. And like Orangeville, I love Woodbridge and everything too. So there's some really kind of cute communities. And when you're ready, get to looking. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. And like, guys, one of the things I will tell you guys about Sacramento in general, and I know it's a stressful time, and I know with interest rates high, inventory and all that stuff too. And a lot of people are kind of freaking out about this stuff. Job security, economic unrest, just everything isn't. But I will say this, like, if you are going to be making the move somewhere, Sacramento, wherever, right? Enjoy the ride. Enjoy that education piece of it. Figure out where's that spot in Sacramento that really works for you. Find out the energy, food scene, the people, the parks, things to do, all that stuff too. Make it really about the journey instead of just the home. I'm pretty much guarantee you're going to probably love your home. It's going to be amazing, but make it about the process, enjoying like the idea that you're moving somewhere and get to know the area, get to know the people, get to know the things to do here. I think it will make the move so much better. So I'd say take the time, and that education piece is just so vital when you're moving anywhere. All right. probably starting winter. Yeah, I think winter is a great time to buy too. I like November, I like December, and I like January. I think a lot of people are, checked out for the holiday season. Also, a lot of people are doing those like winter trips. And I also think the weather here is like rainy and everything too. And I've really lucked out almost every single year during rainy season to get someone a great deal. So yeah, it's good. And if I will throw it out there, my team all owns umbrellas, and we'd love to show you in wintertime as well too. All right. Thanks for the update on Braden. We're young adults and we'll be checking out Sacramento area next week. Can you provide new builds we should definitely check out while visiting? Ooh, okay, I love this. Okay, so here's what I'd say. First of all, if you go to new builds, you don't have to work with a realtor. But normally, if you go there on your first visit, you have to check in with a realtor. And I'm not saying go with it is what it is. It's your choice. Do what you want to do. But I would say, though, if you do plan on wanting to use a realtor, you got to bring them on your first visit. Now, depending on price point, I would say where you're going to get the best deals, and this is how I would lay it out. I would say in Rancho, if you're looking for the deals, K-Hov is it. Tri-Point, probably the next one. I would say if you're looking for single story floor plans, I would say Roseville, Richmond American has one. I think it's called the Ella. Single story is absolutely gorgeous. I think it's in the low, I think it's at like around 700. I also think the steal of the deal for anyone looking for a single story floor plan is the Beezer floor plan in Rancho, which is just unbelievable. High ceilings. The layout is fabulous. Probably my favorite low sixes, high fives, single story, 4-bedroom floor plan that just blows me away. I think Beezer knocked it out of the park. So Jason, do me a favor before let me know exactly what are your pain points? What are you looking for? What things, and I'll do it right now live, and I'll let you know what communities to go to. Here's the thing in Sacramento, there are so many. There's Elk Grove, there's Folsom, El Dorado Hills, West Roseville, West Sacramento. You got Lincoln also. You got Plumas, you got everything. So let me know exactly like what areas you've signaled out, what type of houses you like, and what kind of price point, and I'll let you know which ones I would go to myself. All right. How many new builds are expected in the next 3 years in Roseville and the Rockland area? So Rockland, I'd say probably not much. I mean, Rockland, I think they're building little sectors of new homes, but not a lot. I mean, you got KB that just opened up a community over there. You got Anthem that opened up in Whitney Ranch. I think that's going to be it in Whitney Ranch in that area. Then on the other side of Rockland on the 80, you got Tim Lewis with the Lake Community and Woods Community. I don't think you're going to see too much more building in the Rockland area. I'd say at most maybe like, I don't know, maybe about 1,000, I'd say in Rockland, probably the next 3 years, max. And we're talking max. And if they reach 1,000, maybe. Now in Roseville, man, they got that whole West Roseville going. So like West Roseville, they can go for days and days and days. So West Roseville, I would say probably if we're talking about this moment for 3 years, I would say in West Roseville, you're talking between maybe like, maybe about 1,000 a year, maybe they're just growing, they're growing. And then they're going to eventually merge with all the Placer vineyards and Placer, they're going to do all that stuff too. So West Roseville is going to be just going for a long time. Now, that being said, I don't know if the tariffs are going to affect it so much that all of a sudden it's going to slow it down. Like new home builders are usually their worst enemies, not the salespeople. I really, really like a lot of the salespeople that work at the new home companies, but the builders tend to be very, very greedy. So I'm kind of curious what's going to happen. I mean, I'm wondering if they're going to overbuild now, and then when the tariffs come, they're going to slow down a little bit. I wonder if during winter time, they're going to be hit really hard. So they might slow down completely. New home building has never been super like as aggressive as it is. Like prior to COVID, you'd see a community here and there. It was not a big thing. Now it's like you got like Woodside, and they've got at least like maybe throughout the whole Sacramento area, probably about 20 communities. You got Taylor Morrison, who's got maybe like 15. Toll Brothers has got like 4 or 5. And the list goes on and on. Meritage, Lennar, KB, DR Horton, and everything too. So it's going to be interesting how the tariffs go, but I'd say West Roseville is going to just keep going and going and going. You got Amarosa Ranch, which is the new hottest one. You got what's called Winding Creek. You got like what's called Fitiment, Solaire. What else do you got over there? You got a bunch of them. So they're going to keep building. The land is going forever out there too. So they're just going to keep building until all of a sudden, there's just no more land out there. And so that's going to be the other one that's going to be crazy too is Lincoln. Lincoln is just like, they literally kicked it in from third gear to fifth gear, and Lincoln's going and going and going and going. And then you got the like outliers like your Plymouth Lakes and your Linda, and they're going to be building for days too. So there's going to be a lot of building. All right. Boom. MidCentury Modern is in its own category. And this is exactly why I really want to talk to you about the show, because it's funny. It's like, okay, for example, in Sacramento, it's funny. Like the market won't be doing great, right? Oh, it'll just be horrific market. And then a MidCentury Modern house pops on the market and it flies. So it'll be great to have you on the show, Gabby. I'm looking forward to it. All right. And there's our Instagram account. If you guys go to our Instagram account, you will fall in love with the account. Gabby is a rock star. And so, honestly, like you're going to love her Instagram account, and she'll be on the show next week. So bring your MidCentury Modern questions. Like I said, like I grew up in an Eichler, so I got love and I got a little bit of cramped space for it, but I want to talk about it. It's going to be fun. All right. If we want to work with you directly, how can we get in contact with you? Oh, this sounds kind of weird. A lot of people get surprised by it, but feel free to give me a buzz. And I'll put my number 916-245-0562. And when you call that number, you'll get me. So like I said, I love working with people. Honestly, like it's sad but true. But this show really and I appreciate you guys tuning into the show and asking your questions. A lot of times people might not ask questions, but honestly, some of the things that I love the most is when people give their input on the market, even if they say I'm wrong, and I'm fine with that. Trust me, my wife does that enough. But I guess what I'm telling you guys about is the fact that there's other people that are sitting here watching this video, maybe not live, maybe I don't know, in a month or year, whatever, seeing the show. And I love the idea that you guys have these comments and this input, because they're learning from you guys. They're learning from that. And I think that that's fantastic. So for you guys, I appreciate you guys watching the show. I appreciate you guys contributing to the show. This is my favorite part of the YouTube channel. And like I said, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. I'm here. And I enjoy it. And thank you guys for tuning in. I really do appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you spending the time with me. And hopefully you guys are getting a lot of stuff out of it. All right. Boom. Very true. Sacramento is pretty awesome. Yeah. And like I said, I've lived everywhere. I've lived in Tucson. I've lived in Los Angeles. I've lived in the Bay Area. I've lived in Mexico. I've lived everywhere. And I'm going to tell you something. I feel the energy of Sacramento. I feel the energy of something I don't know. It's we struck gold in a hill and no one else knows about it. And now people are coming here. I mean, you guys got to realize that there's so many people who come into Sacramento from the Bay Area, and they're thinking, all right, we're going to move to Sacramento because it's cheaper. And so they come to Sacramento. And by the time they're leaving after the weekend tour, they've fallen in love with Sacramento. Not only are they moving here because it's more affordable, but they're moving here because they actually can get what they've always wanted in Sacramento. So like I said, I love the area, and I love being a part of the stage of growth that we're at. It's really, really awesome. And I, history major, so it's part of me. I just know that, 2035, 2040, people are going to look back even on some of the stuff and go, I remember when West Roseville was just building out and there was nothing there. Or man, Folsom Ranch. I remember when that was just dirt and it was just one side of the, so I'm excited to see how it's going to be really, really fun for us guys. All right, how important are schools for Roseville rentals, given the jobs are in Medicare, Roseville School District? Here's the thing about Roseville. And this is one of the things, schools are subjective, of course, but I would say this, there's two big districts in Roseville. Now, Roseville, has their own kind of high school unified, where all the high schools are kind of mixed matched in there. Now, there's two big districts out there. There's the center and there's Roseville City Schools. Now, I've seen, based on builders, that Roseville City Schools, if a builder is building in Roseville City Schools, the price point tends to be higher. Now, for me, I think it also depends. And that's kind of one of those things that gets a little interesting, because we do have clients that we show, for example, Richmond American has two communities, one in center, one in Roseville City. And, they like the floor plans better at center, but they like the idea of being in Roseville City a little bit better. So I think for me, as far as rentals go, I'm not seeing that there is too much. I think there's probably a little bit of a disparity, but not too much. I would say also, depending on who your market is, if your market is for families and people who are looking for the schools, then like, that could, and let me see if I can say this correctly without getting myself in trouble. I would say that if you buy something that's in Roseville City Schools, what I've seen is the rents are a little higher than if you're in center. That's basically common knowledge on niche.com or in Zillow. So, but again, I will say that based on what I've been seeing is new home builders build at a higher price point if they know they're in Roseville City Schools. Now, that being said, here's where it gets interesting. Pulte, for example, right? Pulte's community shifted from one city school district to another. So some of these lines of school districts are going to change in the future as well, too. There's also going to be new schools being built in the West Roseville area, 100%. So all of a sudden you say to yourself, well, okay, I got a floor plan. Maybe I'm in a school district. I wish I was in the other one, but I'm in this school district. But wait a minute, there's a high school and there's another middle school and another elementary school being built in the next 3 or 4 years. So it's a little bit of like gambling a little bit, floor plan, price point, school district. So I know that's a little vague, but it's a hard one because like I said, like Pulte threw me for a little bit of a loop, who's like, oh yeah, last year we were Roseville and now we're center. And, we were told in a couple of years, we might be back on Roseville. So that's where it gets a little interesting. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Gabby reeled us up here from LA and it's been shockingly amazing. Shockingly amazing. I know. It's so funny. I work with so many people that have that same thing. I always laugh too. How can I say this? Like a lot of people roll up, and they got the shades on, the chip on the shoulder. I get it. I was kind of like that. And then all of a sudden they start seeing Sacramento, they start seeing the possibilities here in Sacramento. They start seeing some of the backyards and some of the homes they're looking at in Sacramento. They start realizing Lake Tahoe is like an hour and 30 minutes away. They start realizing they don't even want to go to Tahoe that often because they love their backyard and they love the area. They look at the food scene and all of a sudden they realize that a lot of people have been loading them up with BS about Sacramento, and they're seeing like golf course communities. They're seeing like people on the lake on paddle boards. They're seeing like bike trails, hiking trails, and they're seeing all this stuff at their fingertips. And then they're seeing less traffic. They're seeing additional job opportunities, and they're saying to themselves, like, I wish I would have moved here a whole lot sooner. So yeah, it's fun. Like for me, that's my biggest gripe about Sacramento. I wish I would have done it a whole lot sooner. I mean, bought myself that house in Grant Bay for $650 back in the 80s. Woo. Okay. For the June market, what is a decent new builder incentive? I would say right now, depending on what you're looking for specifically, I would say, TriPoint is offering $30,000 towards closing costs and buying down your rate. And I think that's all the TriPoint communities right now too. I would say though, if you're looking for specifically the best incentives, talk to Rose at KHOV and she will sit you down and she will it's funny. Rose is like the gatekeeper a lot of times, especially in that Rancho area where I bring someone to Rose and she's basically like runs the numbers. And then she'll look at the person and say, I think you should go look at the other communities. And after we look at the communities, they might like the floor plans better. They might not like the even builder better. But when they look at the payment, they come right back to Rose and they lock it in. So I would say that is a pretty good one. I think right now KHOV's got some communities. And if you're looking and you're really price conscious and incentive conscious, and I think that's fantastic. Now, another one also, I know in that Rancho area, Richmond American has a few homes right now that they're willing to move on. I mean, you can get, I think, something close to like a 5% interest rate on it as well too. I would say also for incentives or for deals, I would say maybe not incentives, but for the deal, I still think that KB in Elk Grove is like the best deal in Elk Grove right now too. Not to mention, I met 2 of the superintendents at KB. We had a great client of ours just close, and I kid you not, and I told him this straight, and I'll tell this to you guys live. I have never had a better experience with a superintendent that I had at KB. I usually am loaded up with blue tape, and I'm like blue tape and everywhere. Like, I kid you not. The only thing I could call out was one fence board, and that was it. The house was in the best shape I've ever seen in my life. So I think the superintendents at KB right now are knocking it out of the park. I think Elk Grove's your spot. That's where you're looking right now too. Now I'd say in West Roseville, like I said, I think the Richmond American's doing some decent incentives. I think Meritage is always pretty good with incentives as well too. But like I said, if you're looking incentive wise, no one touches K-Hop. Go to Rose, tell her I said hello, and she'll blow you away with the numbers that you can actually get there. All right. All right. A couple of builders are offering 4.99 rates with 3-2-1 buy down. Yep. They are, and like I said, here's the thing about builders, and I'm telling you this just because, the market, how I'm seeing it progress. If we stay at the interest rate we're at right now, I think that you could see really good deals in the builders happening, even better deals. Like I said, though, just watch the interest rates right now. I know builders are slow. I know they have inventory right now laying out there too. So just kind of gauge the inventory, gauge the new home builders as well too. It's gonna be an interesting ride for new home. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen with them. All right, single story homes, Rancho, West Roseville. And if we don't go with new builds, we're looking at Fair Oaks and established homes. Should we choose a realtor? Is there a reason we have to take him or her on our first visit? Oh, okay, all those things. First of all, if you're looking for single story, I kid you not, go to Beazer, look at their single story home. This is the only single story they have modeled in Rancho. You will fall in love with that single story home. You don't know how many people have fallen in love with that home. In West Roseville, I'd say if single story is your thing, I would say Woodside's got a good one. I think it's Camille's her name over there. Really nice lady, but Woodside has a good home. Now that home though is going to be somewhere in the 700s. I would say there's another home in Richmond American Woodside, or Richmond American in West Roseville that has a great floor plan as well too. We actually moved a really great client into that single story about 3 months ago. Unbelievable single story. This single story has extra high ceilings as well too. So if you're someone who really, really likes high ceilings, that's one of the things for me I like. If I go single story, I need those high ceilings. And for me, the Rancho one was just that by Beazer was amazing. I also liked, like I said, the Richmond American one, West Roseville. Now, here's the thing though, if single stories are your thing as well too, I would say Elliott Homes and Rancho has a nice single stories going too. They're really nice ones. And they're like a local. There's actually a Mr. Elliott who's in charge of that stuff too. So he's pretty good. Now, the Rancho Elliott is right near Costco too. So if you pass Costco and Rancho and keep going down, the Elliott Homes is right there. They're pretty nice. Now, if you're looking for the most bougie kind of builder in Rancho, Cressley Homes, bar none. Cressley is amazing. You probably get yourself a nice single story, probably in the 7s. And they're really nice as well too. Like West Roseville, for me, if I was going to West Roseville, I'd probably look at JMC as far as their upgrades. I think they're nice. I would say they have some decent single story floor plans. They're nice, just as long as you don't go too big. Then I would say Richmond American has a great single story. Pulte, not a big fan of Pulte just because they're right near those power towers in Roseville. And then maybe I'd go to Amorosa Ranch. I wouldn't probably go to DR Horton, but I'd go to some of the builders that are building out there. So that would be me in West Roseville. Where else? The other one I might swing into, you don't really have to. No, I wouldn't do that. Maybe because I was thinking Vineyards at first, but I think Beazer's already built out there. And I think right now the Vineyard area is not going to be as for me, I like Rancho, Roseville area as well too. I think the Vineyard area is growing and developing. But unless you're someone who's a big fan of Elk Grove, I think Vineyard might be not your thing. So those are the things. Those are the single stories I would look at. All right. Should we choose a realtor? Is there a reason why we have to take him? It's just the builders and how they operate. They really don't want to, the salespeople are fine and everything too, but builders are usually very sticklers to the idea that your realtor has to be with you on your first visit. And like I said, I'd say if you're picking a realtor, find a realtor that actually is going to give you the time, answers the phone, goes through the contract with you, and is there for every single walkthrough and everything too, and helps you negotiate. Now, I will tell you one thing, full transparency. Sometimes you can negotiate, sometimes you can't. If it's that one floor plan everyone's been waiting for and there's 3 other people in line for it, you probably can't negotiate it. But if it's something that it's been on the market for a while, you can probably negotiate and your realtor can help you do that. And like I said, for me, I'm not a big fan of how they do that on the first visit. I think it should be one of those things that you should have the right to have a realtor whenever you choose to jump them in. Because honestly, here's the thing. Having a realtor there to show you the homes and everything too is great. And a lot of people like it. But I do understand there's also there's another big group of people that say, I just want to go into the new homes. I want to take a look at it. I don't want anyone bugging me or hovering over me or anything like this. And I get it too. So, but builders just play that game. And so you have to kind of, have the first visit with them. So I would say like that's kind of the good and the bad of it. So like I said, I don't make the rules, but I will definitely tell you what their rules are. All right. Next one. Boom. I wish the new homes in these new communities looked cooler and way more modern. The styles are so generic. Yeah, I gotta say, a lot of the new home builders, the landscape of Sacramento is gonna be littered with a lot of these new floor plans. But Gabby, I will tell you one thing though, for you specifically, I would check out Woodside's Shawwood. They have like an atrium in one of the homes that are really like Eichler-ish. You might like it. But yeah, I think what we need to see a little bit more in Sacramento is that they spend a little more time on the elevation. I mean, what you're going to normally see, and this is Toll Brothers, this is Taylor, this is whoever, it's going to walk in and it's going to be like Spanish, traditional, craftsman, Tuscan. It's like, okay, that's kind of who you got, and the modern is going to look a whole lot like craftsman. So it'd be nice for them to kind of step it up a little bit. All right. Boom. Oh yeah. The only mid-century. Oh, it would be cool to see a true, like, how's this? You bring back the String Brothers to do a cool little community of like maybe 12 homes. Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be really, really cool. All right. Sacramento is a hot market for nurses, or many nurses wanting to relocate there. Yeah, because honestly, the thing about Sacramento's market straight up is the fact that not only do we pay really, really good our medical professionals, but what I've heard, and I don't know exactly what this means, but a lot of the nurses that we work with, a lot of the doctors that we work with, always say one thing: they treat us really, really, really well. And so I would say definitely, come to Sacramento, get a job interview, test it out. I mean, we got what? Sutter, Shriners, UC Davis, Kaisers, and the list goes on and on. So we got some medical here, guys. Thank you for showing us around this weekend. Very informative. No problem at all. Guys, this is what I love to do. And I know sometimes, and here's the thing for me, and hopefully, if you've worked with me before, or if you haven't or whatnot, one of the biggest pieces to the puzzle that I love is the education piece of it. I don't ever think that a realtor should look at someone and say, you should buy this home, this house. I think that if you show a person a house, if you educate them on the area, they're going to one day look at you and say, we found our spot. We found our home. We love this. This is the one we want. That's how I would want, if I was going to be working with a realtor, that's what I would want. I'd want the realtor to educate me, answer any questions I have, and then let it organically come to me where I walk into a house and I go, this is it. This is the house. I'm so excited. That is what I try for with every single person we work with. And, I'd say we have a pretty good track record. All right. All right. I wish a hospital would be built in the West Roseville area. The hospitals in Roseville are located both in the East Roseville. I heard Kaiser is going to be building. I'm not sure if it's in West Roseville, but I hear there's another Kaiser coming to Roseville. There's another Kaiser coming to what's called downtown. There's going to be more Kaisers. There's going to be more. All right. Land. My son sailed the house 5-bathroom. Oh, okay. Land, if you want to give me a call, I could talk to you a little bit about it. All right. Why is it hard to get third-party inspections before closing the new builds in Roseville? I feel they kind of get offended when asked for one. That's one of the things about me. That's a huge pet peeve of mine, straight up. I don't get it. For resale homes, you have that inspection period built into the contract. I don't know what they lose by really giving a person a chance to inspect the home. I mean, they give you that year fit and finish. They give you the 10-year structural. I don't understand why they wouldn't say, look, our home is legit. We built it well. If you want to inspect it, I think you should. Because I think that that's right. That's fair. I've never understood that. Lennar, yeah, I totally understand that. I really, really do believe that. And if it was me and I was a superintendent and I built this house and I stood behind my work, I would say, like, you do hire an inspector. You go for it. I think, if you want to do that, absolutely. And if you find stuff wrong with it, it's my obligation as a superintendent, as a person who's taking your money for this house, to fix what you find. So yeah, I'm with you. That's one of my pet peeves. That and solar. All right, is Citrus Heights a good area to raise a family? Rental market. Citrus is centrally located. I think the price point there is fantastic. I think Citrus, I'd call Citrus more a street to street area. I think there's some communities that are like farmy, some communities that are like, behind a gate. I think Citrus has a little bit of everything. But for me, I would say like, Citrus is, I would say street to street area. You just kind of have to gauge where you're going to buy the house. I would honestly say like I'd move people into Citrus and they've had nothing but great experience in Citrus Heights. So I would say, honestly, Citrus is a street-to-street pride location. All right. Do you think it's possible to find a single-story resale home around 2,200 square feet for $750 in Empire Ranch, Folsom this July? Oof, that's tough. Maybe. I would say, here's the thing. I'd say July. If you found a house there, you could. I don't know if it would be in like the Lakeview communities. I think you'd have to probably get something that's a little bit dated, something that someone wants to sell. I think you might be able to get, that's gonna be hard though. I would say, okay, for $750, I think you're probably looking for something Empire Ranch. You're probably looking for something maybe around 1,850 square feet. 3 and 2 might be able to happen. But here's the thing, if something does pop up, I'll let you know. I would say though, that's gonna be tight, honestly, straight up. All right, what's your opinion about local builders like JMC compared to the big players? I think JMC's solid builder, honestly. Like I think that if you talk to realtors in the area, they're going to tell you like JMC is a very solid builder. I think that they do the good incentives. I think that their standard upgrades are better than majority of the builders in the area too. So they throw in some pretty stuff. Their houses, like sometimes when you work with a builder, their standard upgrades are just blah. They're okay. JMC adds a little bit of pop, a little bit of flair, and it's added with the ticket price. So I think JMC standard upgrades are great. The only negative I've heard of JMC is the elevations are a little bit like, not as modern, but I mean, it's a house, that I think it's just fine. So JMC, I think it's pretty solid. JMC has good incentives too. Solar is included. Yep, solar is included, which I love. What I've been noticing too, and this has been just driving me absolutely nuts, is that like a lot of people are saying like a lot of builders are like, we include solar. And then you go in there, you see the home, you fall in love with it. They're like, no. We include a 25-year lease that we'll pay for. It kills me. Now, a lot of people are like, that's 25 years. You won't be in the house there, but it doesn't add to the value of the home. When you lease solar, it doesn't add to the value of the home. So that drives me crazy. So just be wary. All right. Do you have top 3 luxury builders in and around Sacramento? Ooh, okay. Here would be me right now. Number 1 is I'm really, really love the Shawwood product. I wouldn't put Woodside part of it. I'd say Shawwood is completely its own thing. I mean, it's furniture grade wood, which I just was in love with. I think that community there, I think if you go in there, you might not like the location because the 50 is like right there, but I think the build of it is exceptional. I think like the finishes in the home too are just amazing as well too. I think it has a little mid-century modern vibe to it, but I really, really like it. A little bit more modern than I've seen some of the homes as well too. So, okay, that one I like, Shawwood. I would say Toll Brothers, probably the next one. And back in the day, I think it was Tim Lewis, but I think right now I'd probably have to say someone like, who would I throw out? It was my third. I don't know. My third is going to be tough. I'd say Toll for sure. Shawwood. Maybe like, when New Home Company went for like Gold Hill or Silvercrest, I haven't seen a product like that. Well, they did one in Rockland that I liked. I would say probably like, because here's the thing for me, when I look at luxury homes, I look at high ceilings. I look at like, imperfect smooth walls. I look at baseboards that are really, really high. I look at like those sliders that are just amazing. So for me, I would say the third is a hard one, but I'd say Shawwood really, really, really hooked it up. They didn't have those dinky sliders too. They had bigger sliders than Toll Brothers. So I'd say Shawwood is pretty much up there. And I'd say Toll Brothers is up there as well too. I would say Tim Lewis used to be like up there as well too, but their product hasn't really impressed me that much. I would say, in fact, I got to be honest, like Anthem up at Whitney Ranch impressed me more than Tim Lewis did. So maybe Anthem, but they don't always build luxury, which is the tough one. Like, here's the thing with Toll Brothers. They only build luxury homes, which is like that's what they build. Shawwood, they only build a certain type of home as well too. And then you have people like the new home companies, and you got like the Tim Lewis's and the Taylors, and they build almost at every single level. They build at the luxury level, the entry level, and then the mid level. So it's hard to say like a true luxury builder. So I'd say for me, probably Shawwood and Toll Brothers would probably be the two. All right. Boom. Great superintendents equal. Yeah. And that's what I tell people straight up. Okay. Like, here's the thing. Like, for example, like Taylor, love me a Taylor Morrison home. Always have. You guys know this. I'm a Taylor Morrison fanboy, but I will say this. I would always talk to the superintendent, see what they're doing there, see how I feel about his work, his projects, his reputation, everything too. Taylor Morrison doesn't bring in all their contractors. Everyone uses the same contractors in certain areas, and they bring in their own different crews in different areas. Like Taylor Morrison in Elk Grove is going to be a different build quality than probably Taylor Morrison in Folsom. I don't care what they say about standards or whatnot. They're just different. So understand that if you're doing reviews or you're looking for reviews on like even Lennar in Folsom, right? That's a different build crew than it is like in like North Lake. So just understand that its superintendent has a lot to do with it. And also like, you know, you can't judge the reviews on one community to another community because it could be a completely different build crew. So that's it. All right. I've had good experiences with selling JMC before. Yeah, you know, I think JMC, I think they're local as well too. So like for me, JMC has always been like what I've seen pretty quality. I don't think they're like wow homes, right? You know, like boom, like, you know, I think that they're like quality homes, and I think they're good homes. I would say they're probably like, you know, they're neck and neck with some of the big ones. So, you know, I like JMC. Like I said, I think the JMC home that the person bought in West Roseville, I think you'll like it. I think it'd be good. The only thing about, I mean, they're building so many communities out there in West Roseville. JMC's got like 9 communities. And I think they're opening up a few more. All right, let's get into some fun ones. Okay, so this is a home that I told you guys, like I said, our team's been just putting homes down left and right. So this is another one that Michelle put up, and she put it down, 2 offers at list. And so we were super happy with that. And actually, I think the other one came in over. So, okay, I'll have to talk to Michelle, but this thing hot. If you guys are looking for like a house like this, let us know. We can put you in the second backup position, but this house is flying. And like I said, people were flooding to this house. And I said this 2 weeks ago, and I meant it. For this price point, a 4 and 2, in this type of shape with this size of backyard, this was the deal of the century in Sacramento. So whoever gets it, you are super lucky. All right, next one. Boom. Here we go. Median sale price. All right, 510. Average home value, 492. All right, so we got a slight decrease happening right now, and a lot of people are anticipating a huge crash happening to our market. I hate to disappoint you. We're not going to see that. Do I think that our market might flatline a little bit? Maybe even dip just a tad bit, possibly. It depends. I mean, with this economic sentiment, I don't see it getting better. I don't see interest rates getting better as well, too. I think what you are going to see, though, is now that we have kind of a neutral market, you probably could see in the long run that it turns into more of a buyer's market, a true buyer's market with the inventory and everything, too. It's probably going to turn into it really, really faster. So let's hit into interest rates, and we'll get you out of here for the night. And by the way, I got I'm thinking either a video on one of the areas in Sacramento this Friday, or I also have this unbelievable house that I might do a house tour as well Friday. So I don't know. I'm going back and forth. So the Friday video should be amazing. 7 o'clock. It'll be awesome. So here we are. 7%. We're going to be probably like hanging around you for a while. Now, as we saw, at times there is a little bit of a dip. So if you're one of the lucky ones, you might see a little bit of a dip happen, but I think we're going to be cruising around 7% for a long, long time. But like I said, you never know. Everyone's been wrong about interest rates, and honestly, it could switch depending on what tweet happens, or, you know, if people decide to kind of like realize the fact that interest rates have to go down because our housing market needs a little bit of a jump start. Dave Ramsey was saying that he predicts interest rates are going to go down because people aren't going to want to see the housing market in this much of a crisis. And it is. I mean, demand is slow. Tariffs are going to mess with new homes. I mean, we're not in good shape. The only thing that is really saving our market, and this is a good and a bad thing, is that so many people have 2.75s that they're thinking to themselves, I'm good. I'm not moving. I'm so glad I'm not in this insanity. And a lot of the people who are selling right now, death, departing, and divorce. Just don't mean to throw bad news on, but that's it. So let's go to some of the Q&A that came into the site. All right. Or into the YouTube channel. All right. Sacramento's top 6 suburbs. What about North Natomas, Greenhaven, Fair Oaks, or American River Drive? I will tell you this straight up. Natomas, I have drone footage. I'm already in the process of creating an amazing Natomas video for you guys. I love North Natomas. I think right now, though, it is a soft market for anyone who wants to be close to the airport in downtown. The Pocket, Greenhaven, love that area. And Gabby, correct me if I'm wrong, but there are some MidCentury Modern in the Pocket as well, too. Fair Oaks, I think Fair Oaks is super cute. I think it's really, there's really fun communities in Fair Oaks, like the Phoenix Park area, Crow Downs, the old school one. Yeah, Fair Oaks is really beautiful too. American River Drive, American River Canyon in Folsom is great too. There are more little niche areas that I'm going to be covering on this channel, but this goes to show that I did a video on 6 suburbs and more people were coming out saying, hey, you missed a few. Sacramento has so many amazing spots to live. I'm super excited to bring you some more videos to highlight these because honestly, as much as I would love to say this channel has like done everything we needed to do, we have more suburbs, more neighborhoods, more communities to cover for you guys, and this will happen, I promise. All right, Sacramento's home buyers might see a buyer's market soon. You might. To answer the nurse income question in Sacramento, Kaiser pays the most, then Sutter, UC Davis pays a little less, but the same as each other. Mercy pays the least for nurses, and a good point to make is Sacramento is one of the highest wages for nurses versus living expenses. Sacramento for the win. Yes, there's MidCentury Modern. Gabby, it's going to be a fun show on Wednesday. All right, so like I said, guys, one of the biggest things that has just been booming in the Sacramento area are nurses and doctors, medical professionals moving to the Sacramento area. With so many hospitals, Shriners too, so we've got such a demand for nurses and for doctors and for medical professionals, administration staff as well too, guys. Like if you are someone in the medical field and you're thinking to yourself, I hear about Sacramento, I'm wondering how it looks, just take a drive out to Sacramento or a flight. We'll show you some amazing time. We'll introduce you to some of the doctors and nurses that we've worked with that have actually moved in the area that absolutely love it here in the Sacramento area. All right. Are you impressed with the food restaurants in Sacramento? I love going to Leatherby's. So does my daughter. My daughter is a fanatic of the Folsom Leatherby's. Yeah, Leatherby's is awesome, guys. And there are some great ice cream spots in all of Sacramento. We might have to do top 10 ice cream spots now that it's warm. All right, Sacramento regret. I stopped watching when you said Blackstone is a little ways from the town center. I'm literally as buried in the Blackstone is 2.5 miles from my house. Straight shot, no winding roads. I apologize. And here's the thing. I think distance is a little subjective. But yeah, it is a little bit far of a schlep all the way to Blackstone. So I do at the end of Blackstone, it is a far drive. And you are right. I should have made light of the distance, but in relatively speaking, it's like straight shot, no winding roads, boom. So, I was wrong. I apologize. Do you think Sacramento offers things to do, fun entertainment? Not sure. Moving to June 25th. I believe to Roseville. Still nervous about the city. Not sure why I'm used to moving, being in the military and all, but sure why this move feels different. I think the move probably feels a little different to you because you're going to end up loving the Sacramento area. I think Roseville is awesome. I think you're probably going to really, really love the Roseville area as well too. A lot of people do. I think Roseville, if you're looking for something that's in the middle of everything, you're gonna find it there. So I wish you the best. I think you'll do good, and I think you picked right. I think Roseville is just growing, booming. I think you got the good food scene over there too, shopping, fun things to do. I think you'll like it. All right, I got a 6% rate. Conventional with preferred lender at JMC. That's why I'm buying a home at JMC in Roseville. All right, 6%. That ain't bad. All right. And I'm happy for you. I know you're a little bit nervous about it. But at the end of the day, I think that like JMC, I think they're a good builder. Roseville, I think it's a good area. So for me, I'm sending you good new home, first time home buyer vibes. I really do mean it. And hopefully you'll check back. If for some reason something goes wrong with JMC or something, whatever, let us know on this channel. Trust me, a lot of people watch this show and I'd love to know about your experience. All right, next one too. Was the move to Sacramento a good decision for your family? Yes, 82%. And for me, it was a fantastic move for my family. Would not have changed a thing except for doing it sooner. Do you feel safe in your Sacramento neighborhood? Yes, 77%. No, 23%. For me, I live in Gold River. Honestly, like, I love Gold River. I feel completely like in a little bit of a bubble. So, you know, like I said, I think you have to feel out the neighborhood. If it's me and I'm moving somewhere in Sacramento or moving anywhere in the country, I would be checking crime stats. I'd go Megan's Law. I would go school reports as well too, for sure. So like I said, before you jump into a house, make sure you know the area as well too. How's the North Natomas neighborhood? I like it. I think it's nice. I think my favorite is the Cove by Beezer. I think that you got a nice pool scene, very modern vibe. A lot of like professionals work there too. I think the area is really, really nice and developing and growing. I think there's more builders building out there too. I think Meritage just opened up a community as well too. So I think it's nice. But again, I would say though, any place you move into, crime statistics, Megan's Law, and also, what is it? The last one, greatschools.org. All right. Do you enjoy the weather in Sacramento year round? Summer sucks, but we get every season. This is true. Summer does get a little warm. I gotcha. But the thing about Sacramento too, is I think people have this weird kind of thought that it's always hot in Sacramento. It's hot, you know, end of April, you get a couple days. May, it starts warming up. May, June, July, August, it's hot. September, it's still pretty warm. But yeah, during wintertime, I got my like nice coat on. It's raining. Fall, you get some nice leaves, and springtime, you get allergies. But yeah, we get every season around here, guys. All right. Question at Northbrook Community. Ooh, okay. All right, here we go. Market feels neutral right now. Most homes with price dropped or overpriced to begin with. Agree. So pricing is still high. Not seeing many good deals for buyers yet. Not yet. I think though, if interest rates stay where they are, I think that, you know, we could see some price drops start to happen. Legit price drops happen. The only thing that I will say though to you guys is there is going to be that number, that interest rate number that's going to flip it around, and then demand is going to fly back in. So just really, really, I always say time your life, don't time the market. But if you're forced to time the market because of what you're looking for, I would truthfully say just understand there is going to be that number that's going to flip the script. All right. Too expensive. I don't want to be too specific. All I can do is, okay, cool. All right. Can't forget the American River Bike Trail. Absolutely. American River Bike Trail is like right, where is it? It's right over there for me. I like the bike trail. 32 miles of paved bike roads from Folsom all the way downtown. Really, really nice. I would say though, don't make the mistake I made of driving a beach cruiser into the American River Bike Trail. The bike riders were not really forgiving. And yeah, it wasn't that fun. But I'd say if you're a bike rider, you love that stuff. You got the helmet, the gear and everything too. You got some fun bike trails right along the water. Beautiful scenery. All right, Sacramento home buyers might still see a buyer's market soon. Intel laid off 25K employees. Intel's just, yeah, it's not a good time. Mark, is the rail yard project going in downtown at Kaiser? All this stuff, guys, I'm going to do an update video. I'm going to literally stop by Vitali's home, and I'm going to get him on mic, and we're going to talk about this stuff for you guys. Not this Friday, but probably hopefully next Friday, we'll have an update of the projects. We'll talk rail yard. We'll talk Braden. We'll talk zoo. We'll talk all those stuff and give you guys an update of what's been happening. All right. If you find it easy to make new friends and social connections here, I'm buying a home in West Roseville, Inspiration Village. Here's the thing for me. I think that for the most part, what I've noticed is that in Sacramento, people are very, very friendly around here too. I myself, moving into Gold River, I got like people sitting on the corner every Friday, drinking wine, hanging out. I know all my neighbors. And when I show houses to people in various areas, I kid you not, a lot of people from the Bay Area are so confused by why people are saying hello and everything too. So, you know, I would say that Sacramento, as far as the neighborly stuff goes, yeah, I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised. All right. Sacramento has always been known as a cow town. The government is slow and inept. people moved from the Bay Area during the pandemic. When I was a kid, all these areas were nice and peaceful, some not built up, and more farmland. Here's the thing I will tell you about Sacramento. It was always known as a cow town. I think that moniker is long gone. I would say maybe 7 years ago, it was known as affordable. And now I think it's going to be one of those spots where now Sacramento's got areas like Folsom, like Elk Grove. They're just growing. Folsom's like a destination spot. I think now we got the A's, we got X Games, we got all this stuff happening. So I think for us, we're moving into a whole new era of Sacramento. By 2030, 2035, I don't think there's anyone who's going to be calling Sacramento Cowtown. All right. Amorosa Ranch got elementary schools canceled due to funding issues early this year. Do you think they're going to build schools in West Roseville? Yeah, I think they're 100% going to build Roseville. Here's the thing that really annoys me. Okay. There are so many homes going in West Roseville. Every single one of those homes is paying Melrose. Melrose is what's funding a lot of these schools, parks, and everything too. So I don't get what the disconnect is. You know, I see Folsom with all their new homes and they're building 3 new schools. So I don't understand what that disconnect is. Like for me, I would be so annoyed right now if I'm paying $350 a month, like the rest of all the people in like Fittyment, Solaire, Winding Creek, and all that stuff too. And I'd say like, where's my Melrose going to? I thought my Melrose was going to basically help fund the schools. What's going on there? So I'd be annoyed. But honestly, guys, if I was you guys and I lived in West Roseville, I would literally want to know why this is happening, what schools are going to be coming up in the future of West Roseville, because that's what my Melrose should be going towards. I'm a little grouchy today. I apologize, guys. All right. I'm hearing Folsom Ranch is getting ready for a few new parks. You have the inside information on this. I will send a text to my buddy Shig, who works at Taylor. He showed me the current map of where the parks are and everything too. I'm going to try and put it into the comment section or the post section probably tomorrow or the next day. It'll be a map of like the latest and greatest in Folsom Ranch for you guys too. So hopefully you'll see that. And I'll actually gonna put that on my list to do. Map parks Folsom. All right. And if you guys have any requests too, just put them on the channel. I watch this channel like a hawk. So if you guys have requests, if you guys want any information on anything, let me know. Like for example, today I was in East Sacramento, I was in West Roseville, I was in El Dorado Hills, and then I shot to Elk Grove, and then I came back for the show. So literally I am always in my car. So if you guys need anything, need photos of a new community that's coming out or whatnot, just ask me and I'll make sure I put those in the post as well too. All right. All right. Love your home tours. Keep them coming. All right. You got one coming on Friday. And this one is like, 20-foot ceilings. It's like these they're crazy. It'll be fun. This home tour is going to be awesome. And Brooke, who is my new camera person, is amazing. So I'm giving her a shout out. If you guys are looking, if you're a realtor or anyone who's looking for the best video person in the Sacramento area, reach out to me. She is unbelievable. All right. I'm optimistic the school will be built in West Roseville and it still continues to grow. Yeah, like I said, guys, you guys are paying for the schools with your Melrose. Like I said, I don't understand the disconnect. There's got to be at least maybe 23,000 homes that have been built already in West Roseville. Like that's a lot of Melrose going. Where's it going? All right, can't wait to hear about the zoo. Wondering what else Grove City did to lose it. Elk Grove. I love Elk Grove, the fact that it's growing but it does some like things that just kill me. Their city government or whatnot. It's just, the medical school innovations plaza or center that's being built in Natomas, that was originally going to Elk Grove, but Elk Grove sat on the fence, and then Natomas picked it up. And so now with the zoo, it's the same thing. So I don't know. I think Elk Grove, their government tends to be their worst enemy. All right. Boom. Would you still be able to get incentives from new builds if you go with a VA loan? Yep, absolutely. How is the resale market compared to new homes right now? And how do you think they will look in a year? Oh, okay. So if interest rates stay the same, I think the new homes are going to be hurting even more towards the end of this year, beginning of next year. I think the resale market, I think it's going to be it's not going to be great. I think what you're going to notice is the serious sellers are probably going to keep their homes on the market. Now, for me, I'm just seeing inventory kind of pile up and pile up, but it's a mix between sellers who, in my opinion, are really serious about selling their homes and they're sitting on 2.75s, and sellers who just really need to unload their homes. I think at the end of this year, and this is, I'm preface it by saying it, if interest rates stay where they are and the economic sentiment is where it is still, I'd say like right now, we're going to probably move into a buyer's market towards the end of this year, if not sooner. And both resale and new, you probably could see some good deals. I would say more than not, probably new homes. But I think with resale homes, depending on how picky you are, what you're looking for, you could see a smoking deal in resale as well too. All right. Help me buy my home. Hey, Rob, how's it going? And listen, guys, here's the thing for me. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this live broadcast, and we're going to keep going. Throw me a thumbs up, questions, comments, anything you guys want. And this is, hopefully you guys are enjoying it. All right, next one. And like I said, this isn't one of those like cut, slicing, putting in the music and doing it 3 times to get it right. I'm a boots on the ground realtor. I'm out there all the time. I'm either filming, showing homes, listing homes and everything too. This is kind of what I do. And this is why I can do a live show for like an hour and a half, almost every week for you guys, because I'm out there doing this. If I wasn't out there selling homes, listing homes, talking to realtors, lenders, and just people in general, I wouldn't be able to give you guys this content. So if you guys are looking to work with a team, reach out to our team. If you're looking to sell your home, guys, honestly, we've been killing it with YouTube videos selling homes. All right, Pocket Green Haven, Fab 40s. I went to a Fab 40s home today. It was like 2.5, unbelievable Fab 40s home. And I'm curious to see how it'll do, because honestly, some of these areas, it's just a hit or miss sometimes. Some of these areas like the Fab 40s, one of my favorite areas, there's only a few houses there, a few kind of houses in comparison to other communities. I'm curious to see how it'll do. I'll let you guys know, and I'll see if I can send some photos of that your way too. But Fab 40s is one of those old school communities or old school areas in like the East Sacramento area that people absolutely love. Famous people live there. A guy whose first name is Araya, won't go further into that, but there's a lot of people live there. And the Fab 40s is where all the holiday lights happen as well too. Gorgeous homes. If you're not looking for tract, if you're looking for something $1 million-ish, $2 million-ish, Fab 40s is definitely where you go. Great community, gorgeous homes. Love that area. All right. Are you happy with the schools or education options available in the area? 66% said yes. I hope more schools get built in West Roseville. Hope more schools get built in the Vineyards area. And honestly, I would love to see them do a little revamping of the schools, kind of like, closer to downtown Sacramento. Hopefully that does happen, because I do think with growth, there should be some realization that a lot of people are moving in and they want better in Sacramento. So hopefully that does happen. Has the commute or traffic been better than expected since moving here? No. Yeah, a lot of people are moving to Folsom. A lot of people aren't happy with the traffic there too. Here's the thing. 50 is brutal. Not a big fan of 50. And right now there's a lot of infrastructure work that seems to go on forever and ever and ever. Is it comparable, the traffic, to the Bay Area or Los Angeles? No. But is it a lot worse than it should be here? Yeah, absolutely. Traffic is brutal here comparatively towards what you'd expect it to be. So understand this. If you're someone who's got to commute at 9 o'clock or 5 o'clock, I would gauge where you got to go to. I'd say right now the 50 is a bear. I'd say Roseville Parkway is being worked on as well too. I'd say even like Hazel, and there's other things happening here. So there is a lot of infrastructure that is being built right now that is leading to traffic. So just be aware. All right. This is the house I did. MidCentury Modern, the one we're going to be bringing up next week. Gorgeous house. And that car there, I wish that was mine. All right. Do you think Sacramento offers enough things to do? Fun and entertainment? Yes. Guys, I think 59% of you said this. I think no, 41%. A lot of people are thinking Sacramento might be a little slow. But here's the thing for us, guys. If you're looking for an area where you want to raise your kids, you want to have family things to do, it doesn't get better in Sacramento. Now, in the future, we're going to have Top Golf coming into in the Sacramento area, like Natomas. We're going to have other big things happening in Sacramento that are even going to make Sacramento even more fun. If you're looking for movie nights in the park, Sacramento's your spot. If you're looking for those soccer game weekends with the family, this is where you come. Sacramento's fun. All right. Was a move to Sacramento a good decision for you and your family? I might move to Roseville. I'm in the process of buying. Yeah, and it looks like you did. Congrats. All right, guys, that is a live show for the night. We went to an hour and 30 minutes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the program. And like I said, the California housing market isn't in the best shape right now. Economic uncertainty, interest rates are still high. We're seeing sellers being a little unrealistic with their prices, and unrealistic, take that with a grain of salt. This is what the market looks like in California, in the nation, and Sacramento is no different. Do I think Sacramento real estate and Sacramento housing market is still amazing? Yeah, I do. For me, I love our market, and I think when interest rates start to dip a little bit, I think we'll be back off to the races again too. I think Sacramento is affordable California, and I think people still love California and want to live here, and Sacramento is the best option for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the live show, and if you did, smash that like button, and any comments or questions you leave on this channel, I'll make sure to answer. And remember, Friday at 7 p.m., you got another house tour coming your way. Okay, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash that like button. Now, I want to know directly from you guys. Do you think the California housing market is in trouble? Do you think it's a good time to move to Sacramento in 2025? Let me know in the comments below. Now, guys, we are a relocation team. We are a real estate team here in Sacramento, and we'd absolutely love to work with you. If you're thinking about making the move here, if you have some questions, if you're thinking about timelines, house styles, areas, we got you. Hit that Zoom link below, get on a call with us, and we'll talk a little bit about Sacramento, answer any questions you have. Education is a big key to our process in finding you the perfect spot. Now, if you're someone in Sacramento, guys, and you're thinking about selling your house and it's not moving, or maybe you're thinking about selling your house in the future and you're not sure exactly what real estate team to work with, we have had nothing but success using YouTube to leverage eyeballs on your property and getting it sold. So if that's you and you're thinking about making the move and you're thinking about selling that home, reach out to our team. Guys, nobody markets a home like we have. We have that track record that nobody has in the Sacramento area. We've been selling homes left and right. We'd love to work with you, so reach out to our team. Now, one last thing before I go, there's more videos over there for you about Sacramento to get you in the know. And like I said, if you guys are thinking about making the move and you're not sure exactly where you should move into, or you have those additional questions, these videos over there will definitely help you out. Okay, guys, until next time, this is Mark. Have a good one.